This is going to be my Premier League predictions for match week 31. This is the last game week before the last international break of the season, and we resume on April. And we got some massive games to go through, and I will also be predicting the Carabao Cup final between Arsenal and Manchester City right towards the end of this video. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win the Carabao Cup on Sunday? And let's get straight into it. First game of the weekend is on Friday night, which is today, where we got Bournemouth versus Manchester United. 10th place versus 3rd place. Bournemouth currently right now, they're on 10 games right now unbeaten in the Premier League. And they've extended that by drawing 0-0 to Burnley. They have now drawn 4 games in a row, and they have now drawn 14 games in the Premier League so far this season. That is a hell of a lot of draws for a Premier League team in a season like that. Manchester United, though, on the other hand, Manchester United managed to get back to winning ways, winning 3-1 against Aston Villa. Bruno Fernandes is literally one of the best players in the Premier League, though. He is now overtaking David Beckham in records of assists, and I'll guarantee you that he would get another assist tonight in this game, though. Manchester United, though, we're currently sitting 3rd place right now, trying to secure ourselves and sustain ourselves from Champions League football, and we're on 54 points right now. And Bournemouth do have a good record against Manchester United, though. Look, in my opinion, considering the fact that we, Manchester United, are no longer unbeaten in 2026, and Bournemouth are currently 10 games unbeaten, I think we should win this game, though. It is going to be a tough game, but I believe in us. I'm going to back us here. I'm going to go 2-0 to Manchester United. Next up, we got Brighton taking on Liverpool. Liverpool currently right now, they are absolutely doing awful right now in the Premier League, though. In their last 2 games, they failed to beat back-to-back relegation opposition. They drew to Tottenham. Like, they gave Spurs a point right now. And Liverpool currently right now, they're on 49 points. But, man, that is embarrassing from Liverpool right now. And look, Liverpool are in 5th right now, which 5th place could possibly be a Champions League spot right now. But Liverpool, the way they're playing right now, they could possibly on the brink of losing it right now or something. Liverpool did, get a win in the Champions League against Galatasaray, and they are through to the quarterfinals, though. But can they literally pick themselves up for the Premier League? Though that is the main question. Brighton, though, on the other hand, I think Brighton, though, they're on 40 points right now. They did beat Sunderland away from home, and I can't see Brighton actually finishing any higher in the league table right now. And to be honest, I can actually see Brighton taking all 3 points in this game. I'm going to go Brighton 2, Liverpool 1. Next up, we got Fulham facing Burnley, 11th place versus 19th place. Burnley are currently right now, they're on 20 points right now, and they drew against Bournemouth last weekend, though. And look, Burnley are pretty much all but done right now, and they're probably going to be confirmed as in relegated to the Championship in and around April or something. Fulham, though, on the other hand, and look, Fulham, though, they ended up drawing to Nottingham Forest last weekend, and they lose to West Ham all of a sudden, though. But I'm not quite sure where Fulham would actually end up in the Premier League table come towards the end of the season, but I think they'll take all 3 points in this game. I'm going to go Fulham 1, Burnley 0. Next up on Saturday night, we got Everton taking on Chelsea. Chelsea, right now, they are absolutely finished. They are so cooked right now at the moment. Literally, Liam Rossini is a bit under a bit of pressure right now. He has now lost 6 games as Chelsea manager. 3 of those losses were, of course, against Arsenal. 2 of those losses were against PSG, where Chelsea got absolutely slapped up 8-2 on aggregate, and Chelsea have been knocked out of the Champions League. And they recently lost against Newcastle at home 1-0. And Chelsea right now, they are in 6th place right now. They're only like 6 points behind Manchester United right now, and only 3 points behind Aston Villa. Chelsea are in a pretty bad position right now by their standards. Everton on the other hand, though, Everton, though, they have been really doing very well, though. In their last game, though, they did lose to Arsenal, though, but they actually played very well, in the first half, though. But I think in the last 10 minutes, though, that's where Everton, though, switched off and ended up losing in the 90th minute, 97th minute or something like that, where they conceded 2 late goals in the last 10 minutes. Yeah. Anyways, Everton, though, they are in 8th place right now, though. And look, Everton, they are currently 5 points behind Chelsea right now. And if Everton were to take all 3 points in this game, then Everton will go 2 points in behind them. Do I see that happening? Not really. But I think Everton will get something right now with the way Chelsea are currently playing right now. I'm going to go Everton 2, Chelsea 2. Next up, we got Leeds United, and they face Brentford, a team that is literally battling relegation against another team that is literally fighting for Europe right now. Brentford, though, have been doing really well this season. Though, I mean, most people thought that they were going to actually get relegated, though, but in the space of a couple months, they've been doing very well. Igor Thiago is literally the second top goal scorer in the Premier League right now. And Brentford, though, they are in 7th place right now. They're on, I think, 45 points right now. They did draw their last 2 games against Bournemouth and Wolves, though. They're only, 3 points behind Chelsea right now. So it's getting real tight between 6th place and 7th place. Leeds United, though, on the other hand, though, and look, Leeds United, though, they're currently sitting 15th right now. And look, Leeds United, they really need to pick up themselves really quickly. Because, look, as it stands right now, Leeds United, they're only 3 points off relegation right now. They did draw their last game against Crystal Palace, though, away from home, where that game was a big opportunity that was missed for Leeds United, where Dominic Calvert-Lewin missed a penalty and they were down to 10 men throughout the whole game. And Leeds United, though, they're on 32 points, though. And look, under the lights at Ellen Road, though, is really tough, though. Leeds do play very good at home. And I feel like they will take all 3 points in this game. It is going to be a close one, but I'm going to go for a score prediction of Leeds 1, Brentford 0. On to Super Sunday afternoon, and what a Super Sunday that we have got on our hands this weekend. We got the big one. It's the big Tyne-Wear derby at St James's Park. We got Newcastle, and they face Sunderland. A huge game for both teams at this stage right now. 9th place versus 13th place. I'm going to start with Sunderland, though, because Sunderland, though, I've been impressed with them since the first half of their season when they got promoted and they were doing some unbelievable stuff right now. But up until then, right now, they're currently in 30th place. They have now won 10 games, they've drawn 10 games, and now they've lost 10 games right now in the Premier League though this season. They're on 40 points, though, which Premier League survival was probably their main priority at this stage from the start of the season when Sunderland got promoted, though. And look, Sunderland, though, they did lose their home game against Brighton, though. And look, Sunderland away from home, though, they don't look great. Oh, they always struggle, though, every time. But they do have a really good record against Newcastle, though. I think the last time Newcastle actually beat Sunderland was 2011. Newcastle, though, on the other hand, though, and I'm not sure what's actually happening with Newcastle as it stands right now, because they went from beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge to now getting absolutely smoked 7-2 by Barcelona, 8-3 on aggregate. Newcastle have been knocked out of the Champions League right now as it stands. And look, Newcastle, though, I don't know what sort of confidence or momentum they'll be going into this game, though. And look, it's a really hard one to call right now. Newcastle, they're in 9th place, though, on 42 points, though. I don't think they'll possibly push for Champions League, though. Maybe they might end up pushing for a Europa League or a Conference League spot at the end of the season or something like that. But I'm not so sure about Newcastle, where they'll end up finishing. This is going to be a tight game. I think it will end up with the points being shared. I'm going to go for a score prediction of Newcastle 1, Sunderland 1. Next up, we got Aston Villa up against West Ham. 4th place versus 18th place. a team that's fighting for Champions League football and a team that is literally fighting for their lives to stay up in the Premier League in a relegation battle right now. Aston Villa, though, they're on a bad run of form at the moment. No wins in their last 4 Premier League games. They've lost their last 3 league games right now, and they're currently sitting 4th place right now with 51 points. They're only 3 points above Chelsea, and I think they're only 2 points above Liverpool right now. But Aston Villa, though, they're doing very well in the Europa League right now, and probably that's another way of them trying to qualify for the Champions League if they win the Europa League. Obviously, they did beat Lille last night, and they got themselves through to the quarterfinals of that competition, though. So Aston Villa do have something left in them to actually play for coming towards the end of the season from now. At West Ham, though, on the other hand, West Ham are literally fighting for their lives right now. And you know what? I think West Ham have been doing really well since the turn of the year. I think Nuno Espirito Santo is really starting to get a tune out of those players. And, every point matters in a relegation battle for the bottom 6 teams right now. And that's what West Ham obviously need. They really need points to stay up, though. They're currently on 29 points, level on points with Forest, which I'll come on to later on. And look, away at Villa Park, though, it's going to be a really difficult game for West Ham, though. But with Villa's recent run of form, though, I can actually see West Ham getting something out of this game, to be honest. I'm going to go for a score prediction of Aston Villa 2, West Ham 2. And the final game of the weekend, where we see Tottenham Hotspur versus Nottingham Forest. This is a huge game down at the bottom half of the table right now. This is a huge game in the relegation battle. This is a big relegation 6-pointer. 16th place versus 17th place. There's a lot on the line right now, and both these two teams are on a bad run of form, which is where they desperately need all 3 points. Spurs, though, literally currently right now, and yes, they're obviously in an embarrassment right now. They're probably the worst team in the Premier League right now. I mean, to be fair, they just done something that's unexpected where they got a draw at Anfield against Liverpool. Richarlison scoring the 90th minute equaliser, and Spurs, they're on 30 points right now, and they really need to start picking up themselves right now because they still have not won a game in 2026 right now. And this is where it could get tricky for Spurs from now to the end of the season. They got some tough fixtures as well to see whether if they will survive or not. They did beat Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, but they lost 7-5 on aggregate, though. And Spurs, they just have nothing to play for besides. All they have left now to focus is the relegation battle right now. Nottingham Forest, though, on the other hand, though, look, Nottingham Forest, though, they're currently, I don't know how many games in a row, but all I know is that Nottingham Forest have not won a Premier League game since January. That is like, they haven't won a game in over 2 months ago. Nottingham Forest, though, they did draw against Fulham, where that is a big opportunity that's missed, where they created lots of chances, though, and they were unable to score. But for Nottingham Forest, though, they did beat Midtjylland last night in the Europa League, where they won 2-1 and they won 3-0 on penalties. That is a huge win for Nottingham Forest, though, and they are in the quarterfinals of the Europa League as well. So they will be full of confidence going into this fixture, where, look, Tottenham have the worst home record in the Premier League, though. Nottingham Forest, though, they would fancy their chances of scoring in this fixture, though. And look, it's a really hard one to call, man. I'll be honest. Because, look, Nottingham Forest, though, they're only above the relegation zone, only level on points with West Ham, though. And, look, only 1 point that separates each other right now. And, look, Nottingham Forest, though, they actually play very better than Spurs. They're actually a better team than Spurs, which I think that Forest will actually take all 3 points in this game. I'm going to go for a score prediction of Tottenham 1, Nottingham Forest 3. I actually think that Vitor Pereira will get his first win in the Premier League as Forest manager. Bear in mind, this is Igor Tudor versus Vitor Pereira, because last time these two teams met, it was literally Sean Dyche versus Thomas Frank. This is going to be an interesting relegation 6-pointer. That wraps up my Premier League predictions, and now we got the big one. It's the biggest game of the weekend on Sunday. We got the Carabao Cup final at Wembley, where we see Arsenal facing Manchester City. This is a huge game for both teams in the season. The top two right now in the Premier League, where in the title race, though, the gap this time is now 9 points between Arsenal and Man City. Arsenal extended that lead to 9 points, where they beat Everton 2-0. Victor Gyökeres scored on the score sheet, and 16-year-old Max Dalman, the youngest ever goal scorer in Premier League history, managed to shine for Arsenal, though. That's a huge win for Arsenal in the title race, and they're on 70 points, though. Arsenal are literally just about halfway there from securing a Premier League title. However, for Manchester City, though, they have dropped points to West Ham. Man City have literally drawn against two relegation teams. They drew against Nottingham Forest, and now they drew to West Ham, and they're on 61 points right now. Man City still have a game in hand, though. And look, if Man City do win that game in hand, the gap could possibly be 6 points, though. Possibly, I don't know, maybe 3 points by the time these two meet each other again at the Etihad in April next month. Obviously, both these two teams were competing on all fronts, though. However, Manchester City, they're currently out of the Champions League right now after they got absolutely battered by Real Madrid 5-1 on aggregate. Meanwhile, Arsenal, though, they're still in all four competitions. They did beat Bayer Leverkusen 2-0 in the Champions League, and they are through to the quarterfinals as well. Look, there's a lot of writing on this fixture right now, which is a hard one to call, I'll be honest. Like, basically, whoever wins this game, though, will have huge boost and confidence and momentum, in the title. So, like, does this Carabao Cup final decide the Premier League title race right now? I mean, whoever does win this trophy then will go on to probably end up win the Premier League, though, in my opinion, but I'm not so sure. And look, I actually think that this might be Arsenal's year to do the quadruple. I still think it's going to be impossible for Arsenal, but with the way Arsenal have been doing this season, though, I mean, you can talk about how they play and all that, though, is getting it over the line. And I can see Arsenal winning the Carabao Cup on Sunday, which is why I think this game is going to be Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2, and Arsenal will win on penalties. And Arsenal will lift their first trophy of the season. They will lift the Carabao Cup. And that wraps up my predictions for this video. And I've also been giving you my Carabao Cup prediction as well. Also, I'm going to be showing you guys how the Premier League table will be looking based on my results. This is how the Premier League table is looking right now. Obviously, Arsenal and Man City don't play this weekend, though. Manchester United, though, they're on 57 points. Aston Villa in 4th place. Chelsea in 5th place. Liverpool dropped down to 6th place. Chelsea and Liverpool are level on points with each other. And then you got Brentford in 7th place. Everton in 8th place. Fulham in 9th place. Brighton's in 10th place. Newcastle's in 11th place. Bournemouth in 12th place. Sunderland is in 13th place. Crystal Palace don't play a game. They're in 14th place. Leeds United in 15th place, though, on 35 points. Nottingham Forest move up to 16th place, and Tottenham move 17th place. Level on points with West Ham, and West Ham are on 30 points. And Burnley and Wolves make up the bottom 3 as well. That wraps up my Premier League predictions and my Carabao Cup final prediction for this weekend. Don't forget to drop a follow, drop a like, drop a comment down below your score predictions for those Premier League games, and who do you think is going to win between Arsenal and Man City in the Carabao Cup final. And I will also be live for tonight's game with Bournemouth versus Manchester United. Those are the Premier League games on Saturday and Sunday as well. Thank you guys for watching, and we appreciate all your support, and I'll see you lot in the next one. Cheers.